Sometimes, the most honest art begins where nothing is familiar. Not in studios, not in routines, but in the quiet in between, somewhere far from home. There's a quiet kind of creativity that awakens when you're far away. Not in the comfort of a familiar room, not within the predictable rhythm of daily life, but in unfamiliar cities, in silent hotel corners, on early mornings when no one knows your name. Art feels different when made at a distance. At Kristal Travels, we've learned that creating art while traveling isn't just about capturing places. It's about capturing presence. Because when we leave behind what we know, something opens. The world becomes louder and also quieter. We begin to notice things differently. Textures on stone walls, the way morning light slides across tiled floors, the color of fruit at a market, or the silence of an alley just before sunset. We hear subtleties in sound. We observe colors more deeply. We become moved by gestures that might have gone unnoticed back home. Distance dissolves expectations. The pressure to be productive softens. Instead, a new desire emerges, not to produce, but to feel, to express, to witness. We stop trying to document everything and begin to translate emotions into movement, into music, into color. Far from home, art becomes a mirror and a companion. It becomes a way to process change, to hold on to something fleeting, or to let something go. There are days when everything feels unfamiliar. The language, the customs, the food, even the sky. And on those days, we reach for something simple, a notebook, a camera, a melody hummed under our breath. These small acts of creativity become anchors. They remind us who we are even when nothing around us feels familiar. But it's not just about holding on. Sometimes, the distance allows something new to come through, something unfiltered. In solitude, we hear our own voice more clearly. In unfamiliar spaces, we are free from comparison. Our creativity doesn't need to meet anyone else's standards. It doesn't need to match anyone else's rhythm. It becomes wild again, honest, intuitive, deeply felt. We've painted in open-air markets, filmed in narrow alleyways, written poems in languages we barely understand. Not for perfection, but for connection. Creating art while traveling is not about performance. It's about presence, letting the place shape the process, surrendering control, and allowing the rhythm of a new city to guide the tempo of a poem, letting the stillness of a temple inspire a scene, letting unfamiliar music find its way into your sketch or your dance. There's no formula. There's no right way. But when we create with openness, something true always comes through. Because art made far from home isn't about being certain. It's about being present. Far from home, art becomes home. It holds us in the in-between, between languages, between destinations, between who we were and who we are becoming. It tells the story not just of what we've seen, but how it changed us. And the beauty is, no one else has to understand it. It can be a private act, a whispered line in a journal, a photograph never posted, a melody no one else hears. But in those small, creative moments, something profound happens. We meet ourselves, not the version that's polished or curated, but the one that's in motion, in awe, and fully alive. At Kristal Travels, we believe every journey speaks its own language. Some of it is spoken, some of it is danced, some of it is sketched, sung, scribbled in fragments across a page. But all of it is art, and the farther we go, the more honest our expression becomes. Because when we are far from home, we don't stop creating. We create because we're far from home. When no one knows your name, your creativity can become more honest. There's freedom in anonymity. You don't have to impress or explain or compare. You simply make. And in making, you listen. You notice the rhythm of footsteps outside your window, or how a bird sings differently than it does back home. You notice what you miss and what you don't, what you carry with you, and what you choose to leave behind. These too are creative decisions, choices that shape the art you're making and the person you're becoming. The story you tell through your art might never be shared, but that doesn't make it less real. Travel gives us experiences. Creativity makes them unforgettable. A sketch becomes memory. A line becomes healing. A captured sound becomes presence. When we look back, the most vivid parts of the journey will not be the maps or schedules, but the colors we mixed by accident, the lines we scribbled in motion, the moment we sang softly while walking alone. These are the parts that stay, not the trip, the transformation. So, wherever you are, whether you're crossing continents or sitting quietly in a borrowed room, remember, you don't have to wait to be home to create. In fact, being far from home might be the very thing that helps you see more clearly. To create honestly, to express fully, and to remember that the art you make isn't separate from the journey. It is the journey. So make something, anything. Let this moment become part of the story. And when you return, you'll carry more than memories. You'll carry something only you could have created, far from home.